Hitler sightings soon surface all over Western Europe. One Nazi pilot tells of spiriting his leader to Denmark. Other reports claim Hitler is disguised as a shepherd in the Alps, or as a dealer in a posh French casino. One of the most disturbing stories comes from Sweden. It says Hitler and his bride, Eva Braun, had 2 children and fled to be with them. The report revives fears of Hitler's spawn, training to lead a Nazi revival. For many, the story is chilling proof that Hitler's urge to destroy will live forever, even if in some other form.
He was viewed in the West as being something beyond human, something sheer evil. Was it really possible for him to be dead?
Then, in July 1945, the question of Hitler's whereabouts becomes more than rumor. It balloons into a propaganda weapon. When the war's victors meet outside Berlin, Joseph Stalin insists that Hitler is still alive. He suggests the German leader fled to Japan by U-boat, or perhaps to Spain, where Europe's last fascist, Francisco Franco, still rules. The accusations are an ominous sign that Stalin will use Hitler's disappearance to rattle his enemies.
Stalin, in his usual rather sphinx-like way, wanted to keep everybody guessing, to be able to make everybody uncertain, both in his own entourage and, of course, on the world stage, appealed to his vanity and his very perverse sense of humor.
Then, an intriguing clue surfaces that suggests Stalin may be onto something. A German U-boat pulls into a foreign port, not in Japan or Spain, but in the South American nation of Argentina. Argentina's Juan Perón is an open admirer of Hitler's regime, and the country is already home to many powerful Nazis. In the coming years, many more will arrive, including the wanted war criminals Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the death camps, and Joseph Mengele, dubbed Auschwitz's Doctor of Death. Was Hitler planning to join his henchmen in Argentina, and with them, Juan Perón? Yet at first, no one suspects Perón of harboring Hitler. Under intense American pressure, Argentina had declared war on Germany in March 1945. There are also the 7,000 miles separating the two countries, a huge distance for Hitler to travel undetected. But 2 months after the war ends, Argentina and Perón fall under intense scrutiny when a pair of U-boats appears off the coast. The first, U-530, surfaces on July 10th. 5 weeks later, the second arrives. Reports immediately fly that Hitler has harnessed Nazi Germany's stealthiest weapon to make a nearly miraculous getaway.
This certainly caused quite a stir. Why would a U-boat come to Argentina after the end of the war unless there was some covert reason for it to do so?
The Argentines quickly turned the crews over to the Americans for questioning. At the U.S. National Archives, historian Tim Mulligan has uncovered the interrogators' files. They show that the first U-boat, U-530, was already at sea when Hitler disappeared.
U-530 had already been on mission since March of 1945. And in this case, the captain apparently persuaded the crew that perhaps their best option was to go to Argentina.
But the story of the second boat, U-977, raises more questions. U-977 does not leave its base in Norway until May 2nd. just as Russian soldiers are overrunning Hitler's bunker. Germany invaded Norway in 1940, and in May 1945, its armies still occupy the country. If Hitler does succeed in flying from Berlin, as the Russians suggest, he could flee to Norway. There, he could board U-977 before it sets off on May 2nd, with orders to patrol the North Atlantic. U-977 is not the only U-boat at sea at war's end. When most get news of Germany's capitulation, they surrender. But U-977 does not turn up for another 2.5 months.
Altogether, they were at sea 105 days. By contrast, the longest U.S. submarine patrol of all of World War II was only 84 days.
The journey